Happy Mythology Monday, and thank you for joining me here on my channel talking about my book series, The Head, the Heart, and the Heir, and all other manner of fantasy bookishness that is just fun and wonderful. So today we are going to be talking about the Kingdom of Warren, which is one of the primary kingdoms in my book, The Head, the Heart, and the Heir. Now, the Kingdom of Warren's motto is prosperity through courage. They are the kingdom that is located on the sea. Their primary jobs for most of the people there involve working on the port, the pier, and the various merchants and companies that are trading with all the other kingdoms, especially the Kingdom Orion, which is south of them, and sometimes with the Betruger as well, that is up north of them. Now, what makes this kingdom a little bit special is that they are rather peaceful compared to their allies Dayton. Because they have the protection of Dayton, they've been able to prosper, grow, and become a lot more forward-thinking than the Kingdom of Dayton is typically known for. So the royal family in the Kingdom of Warren, at the time of my book, I should say, at the time of the novella or at the prologue of my book, is made up of the royal family. So at the beginning of the book, we get a prologue where we see what happens to the princess's mother. This is our main character, Princess Elizabeth, also known as Alex. This is the last portrait that was taken of her family before her mother was brutally murdered and she was hidden away. Where the beginning of the book picks off is when she has been discovered, or they're on their way to try to find her and bring her home. So her mother was Princess Victoria and her father was King Edward. Now, what makes her special is that she is the Princess of Warren, but is also a sorceress. And what makes her unique as a sorceress is she is from a line called the line of Cassandra. And what makes this line particularly special is that since the founding of the line, the strongest and most powerful sorceress of every generation has looked like the founding woman or sorceress named Cassandra. So her mother and her are almost a carbon copy of each other and are a carbon copy of the original sorceress named Cassandra who founded the line thousands of years ago. So this is really important because regardless of who she marries or who her mother married, Alex was born looking identical to her mother. She has her father's mannerisms, but her appearance is 100% from the line of Cassandra, and her mother and grandmother were all the line of Cassandra's strongest in their generation. The strongest in the line at every generation is referred to as the true daughter of Cassandra, and the way that they identify her is by the fact that she looks exactly like the previous true daughter of Cassandra, and it's done purposely through the sorcerer lines in order to make sure who their healing sorceress is in a given generation, because the Cassandra line is the healing line, and it's really important to know who your most powerful healer is going to be. Now, back to Warren. So the Kingdom of Warren at the time at the beginning of my book is ruled by King Edward. So her father, who was a prince when she was born, is now the king of the kingdom and has sent people to find her and bring her home. Now, Warren is a very lovely place to live. They're very forward-thinking. They're on the sea. The people are very kind and wonderful and very outgoing and just really a wonderful place to live. There's farmland. There are people who raise horses, who, make different beautiful artistic type things. There are painters, musicians. The kingdom is just full of all different people, and it's a really nice place to live. In the nobility of the kingdom as well, there are a couple of higher ranking families that tend to be important and will be seen a lot in the books themselves. The House of Nile is one of the original founding families for the Kingdom of Warren, and Randall Nile is the current general of the kingdom. He is married to a wonderful woman named Lady Judith, and together they have 3 lovely daughters. Lady Edith is the one that you will see the most in the book. She is the youngest daughter, the most feistiest, and she is one of the lovely ladies who was selected to come and help Princess Elizabeth find her way in the kingdom after having spent 12 years growing up in the woods. Now, the other big house that is an important part of the history of Warren is the House of Bishop. General Matthew Bishop was the former general when Alex was a little girl and before she vanished, and he still carries the title of general. However, he has stepped aside to allow Randall to take over. But the House of Bishop is also very well respected in the kingdom. Matthew is married to a lovely woman named Lady Lillian, and together they have 3 sons, Marco, Aidan, and Julius. Now, Julius has followed in his father's footsteps and is one of the knights at the castle, and he will play a fun role and be often seen in our story as well, because he's a younger knight and is the son of a general. He is given one of the well, he's one of the few knights who is trusted with the fact of guarding the princess once she is returned home. Being the son of the general kind of bumps you up the line when people are trying to decide who is the best to allow to watch a princess who doesn't really like to follow instructions or stay where she's told. Now, as I had mentioned previously, we were going to talk about how each of the kingdoms are based on 3 different things in order to make them a little bit unique. Warren is based on the Vulcans from Star Trek. Their people are very forward-thinking and are not afraid to try out different things and are very scientific in the way that they believe things and try things and that. They're also based on the Italian Renaissance because people are allowed to do what they want. They're very different and forward-thinking with inventions, art, this sort of kind of culture. And finally, they are based on Athens from Greek mythology, which is one of the more powerful kingdoms. They're a big commerce trading type thing as well. They are named after Athena, who is the goddess of wisdom. And when you have prosperity through courage, clearly you need to be wise. So that is our Kingdom of Warren. They are a lot of fun. They are very colorful. As you can see, the dominant colors of the kingdom are silver and blue, but the people are just very kind. They get to be themselves. And one of the lovely things about the kingdom is that Edward does listen to his people. He has varying levels of counsel where he has advisors who advise him on really important political matters and financial things, but he also has councils where he has someone representing all the different industries and wakes of life and things like that in his kingdom, because he cares about what his kingdom want and he listens to his people to make sure that everyone is being treated justly and fairly. So the Kingdom of Warren is a very delightful place to live in the land of Torian, and yeah, if I had to pick a kingdom, I would probably live in Warren because it's pretty and I like fish, so why not? So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because next week we're going to be talking about the Kingdom of Dayton, which is pretty much the polar opposite of the Kingdom of Warren. Have a nice day.